Hey everyone, welcome to Colourisma. Today we are trying something new. I am going to do a draw with me. We're going to try this out and see how it goes. Um, and today's episode is how to relax. And we're going to talk about do's and don'ts, especially don'ts, like everything I did today that was wrong. And yeah, so we're going to try this out, see how it goes. If it works, then maybe we'll do it more. If not, then we'll never do it again and we shall never speak of it. So, time to get comfy because today's episode is all about how to relax. And yeah, I can definitely. Oh, I'm Shar, by the way. I try to say that at the beginning of every episode, and sometimes I forget. But yeah, so today we are going to be chatting about how to relax. And I don't have any notes. I didn't really prepare very well this week. I was debating what to do for this week's episode up until about an hour ago. So I can honestly say that is actually a surefire way to not relax because I was scrambling for content and like creating the thumbnails for all the socials that I needed to update and all of that funness. So that is definitely how to stress yourself out pretty much right before going live on a broadcast. Don't do that. So that's step one. When you're about to go live, prepare in advance. Today just kind of ended up getting away from me. There's something on my eye. I ended up not really being real sure. Sometimes with these solo-sodes, I find them more difficult than interview episodes because with the interview, I know what's expected. Even though we don't pre-do the interview, but it's just a little bit, more. And words are all failing me right now, so this is fun. But yeah, basically, it's more structured. That was the word I was trying to grasp. But yeah, it just has more structure to it. And I am trying different things with these solo-sodes in order to see how much engagement I can get and how different people like them. I'm working on this right now. This is for my patrons. And this is talking and doing things can sometimes be difficult. But this is desktop wallpaper that I'm going to see if I can finish in an hour. And then it's like two birds, one stone. And that's something else. Like any chance you get to be able to get more done at the same time, take it, do it. That definitely helps me out for sure. If you are struggling with getting anything done, then being able to get two things done at the same time really can help. And because I have the pressure of being live and being somewhat entertaining anyway, then I also can't just sit around and look at TikTok or Instagram or any other number of sites that usually try very hard to distract me. Ugh. Yeah, so we're gonna have a chill out kind of stream. Like I said before, I don't have everything all planned out, so we're just kind of going with the flow, and hopefully some people will join us in the chat, and we'll figure out more topics to talk about in this next hour. This topic kind of came up because I was chatting with someone a few days ago, and just overwhelm was kind of happening. And I'm thinking, well, I'm sure this is actually something that's happening to a lot of people. We're in this whole global pandemic situation, and some people are working from home, some people can't, and some people aren't working at all right now. And at first glance, it might seem like, oh, well, then all you have is time to relax because either you're not working or you're working from home, which, less commute, all this other kind of stuff, all the things we tell ourselves that um, tries to make light of the situation. And actually, all of it is very difficult. It's very difficult to deal with change, and especially change that isn't brought on by yourself. And when dealing with that, it can be pretty hard to figure out how to make a new normal in all of this. And even figuring out what the new normal looks like can be pretty difficult as well. So I think it's important to take stock of the situation and definitely not ignore how you feel about it. We may be either pressured to more quickly feel fine about things than we really do. We've been in this since March, and it's now September. And in that, it's kind of important to kind of note that, yeah, we've had some time to adjust to this, but we keep also having a lot of other stuff thrown at us collectively as a society and as a world. Uh, Natural disasters, human-made disasters, just pretty much everything is coming to a head right now. And it can be very difficult to either find the time to relax or even find a reason to relax, because we're kind of been constantly in panic stations for how many months? Let's see, March, April, May, June, July. So 6 months, pretty solid 6 month period here that we've just had so much going on. Like I said, collectively, there's also got to keep in mind, there's also people who honestly, this hasn't changed much. This whole entire experience hasn't been all that different than years past. Hi, I'm one of those people. um, Pretty much the main difference for me this year, out of everything going on, is that I have to wear a mask now. That's pretty much it. Everything else, dealing with social justice issues and dealing with natural disasters and dealing with difficult working conditions and all that, like, that's been a norm for me. And it's just been kind of more of a shared experience for me compared to years past. And honestly, I don't love that more people are having to deal with all the same stuff that I've been dealing with over the years. It's not fun, but because I have had a bit of experience in dealing with it, I feel like I can speak on how to get through it just because I do have experience with that. I'm going to check something real quick. Sorry, everyone. Cool. Like I said, this is an experimentation. We are trying something different. So always an adventure. There we go. Let's try this again with less mistakes. Let's see how we can make this work. Now, kind of a perk of everything going on right now, for me personally, and trying to develop this channel, is that because there's not a big audience yet, I can kind of mess up like this, and it's relatively okay. So, hey, gotta look on some kind of bright side, right? Okay, I don't know why my nose is being so ridiculous right now. I haven't had an issue all morning until I'm live on air, and then it's like suddenly an issue. But anyway, okay, getting back to what we're working on here. Let me know if you hate this. If y'all like watch this later and you're like, wow, that was awful. Just let me know. It's fine. It's fine. Like I said, we're experimenting. I could definitely do better in the preparation side of things with all this. Definitely also do better with this goober's face. Wow. I am really struggling here to work out the anatomy on this cheetah face here. It's given me weird cats vibes, which I don't love. So yeah, just, I know what cheetahs look like. I draw them enough, and yet like just looking weird. So a lot of times when I have this stage of just weirdness, one of the things I do is I do a new layer, and then I will take the layer below it and lower the opacity, and then try again. Because I think it's a decent base. It's just yikes on the specific details. Also, I'm not looking at reference, which I might have to do that fun thing of opening new tabs and clicking around and all that funness. I'm actually going to do that now because I'm really struggling with this face. But this is like a realistic version of how these kind of projects work. I've said in prior streams that it's really not about drawing perfectly. It's about figuring out how to fix your oopses, your mistakes, how to adjust and deal with it. Deal with it. Let's see, that's not what I wanted. Oh boy, gotta love all this technology, this newfangled technology. It's so fun. But I am grateful. I think that's another thing that we can chat about as far as relaxing, is figuring out different ways that we can be grateful for what we have and what we're working on, and the ability to be able to work on these things. A few weeks ago, I would not have been able to do this at all because I had only my phone is a viable means to work on the stream and go live. But I do have better internet situation now, which I am very pleased with. But yeah, so how to relax. I discussed already reasons why we may not feel very relaxed right now. Apologize for the glasses, but this is just far enough away here that it's not as fun to be able to try to draw from the screen this far away without my glasses, so bear with me on that. But yeah, so we're in the middle of a pandemic, and we are trying to figure out a lot of different things about ourselves. And in that, we are also trying to find out ways to not completely panic all the time and to chill out and be able to not completely feel like we're on edge all the time. A lot of what's going on in the news cycle is kind of like probably pulling up a lot of like base instinctual things that throughout history we've been wary of, especially in the terms of like the stuff going on out west right now with all the natural disasters. And I should note the stuff going out in my neck of the woods ish with the hurricanes, because all these natural disasters are definitely extremely stressful, displacing people, and it's probably pretty difficult, even if it's not directly affecting you, to feel like you can really relax, because it's like, when's the next thing coming my way? And all that is pretty difficult to deal with. So it's just one of those things that the less we can control it, the more anxiety it's possible, I feel, to feel about it, because we like to be able to control things, or at least we like to pretend like we can control things. That's definitely something that is kind of a perception with us, that we feel like we have more control than perhaps we really do. And sometimes I feel like we do have a certain amount of control. It's certainly things that we can deem in our own days. I'm just saying things now. There's certain things that we do have under our control. We can control like what we have for breakfast. We can control how early we get ready for work. We can control how much sleep we have to a degree. We can at least try on that one. But when it comes to things that are super outside of our control, that we definitely can't do anything about, it definitely gets stressful. And there's a number of ways we can deal with those kind of things, especially when they just keep popping toward us, just never ending. I don't like encourage staying ignorant about things. I really feel like it's important to know what's going on in the world and having your finger on the pulse of at least the bigger things going on. But if you feel like you're doom scrolling, which is, I think, a term that we've come up with in 2020, if not prior, but just everything you're looking at is just more doom and gloom, then I would suggest figuring out a way to prevent that to whatever degree you can. If your timeline in your various socials have basically become nothing but stress inducers, then I'm going to suggest that you take charge of that. A lot of us are aware that algorithms, if I can say such a word, definitely have a lot of negative factors into our experience with the different platforms. We have, again, not a lot of control in those type of things, but we can control what we can, which is who we're following and the types of accounts we're following and the types of content that we're engaging with, either through comments or likes or what have you. And when you are engaging with content that stresses you out, the algorithm, again, understand it and then use it to your advantage. The algorithm thinks, oh, you want to be engaged with this. You want to see it all the time. So it keeps showing you more and more and more. I'm conflicted on this one because I get a lot of my news from social media, and I really wish there's a part of me that's very organized, and I really wish that I could organize my socials in such a way that, especially like on Instagram, I could organize all of the artists that I follow and then all of the social justice stuff that I follow, and just just any kind of category I want to put it in. I want to have control over it. And then I could basically go to each one of these different categories as I feel up to, like maybe during the day when I feel like I could actually do something, like make calls or sign petitions or whatnot, then I would probably want to look at more of that side of things. And if I wanted to just scroll a little before bed and just kind of relax, then maybe I would check out some like cottagecore or time-lapse videos of people drawing with calm music over it, you know, like stuff like that. I would like that as a feature. I don't think that it will be implemented because the whole entire point of these sites is to keep you on the site, and they have a lot of investment in keeping it the way it is. So I don't think it's going to change anytime soon. But one thing you can do, like I said, is be selective about who you follow or when you check it. If you know that you're about to go to bed, maybe Instagram isn't the thing for you, or you could potentially have 2 separate accounts. It's kind of annoying, but it's possible that you could make that work. You could have only things of one type of subject matter on one account, and then have only other things on a different account and follow other topics that way. It's a bit clunky. I would like it all integrated, but until we could get such a thing, which I don't know that we will, then we just have to make do with what we have, and we have to make the tools do what we want, instead of just lamenting that they don't do what we want. I mean, we can lament too. don't want to make it seem like we shouldn't try to change and make things better for ourselves, but short of that, I definitely feel like taking as much control out of different situations you find yourself in can definitely help with the stress. So for me, I've mostly just kind of gotten tired of social media in general. I just find myself scrolling a little bit now, and then I'm kind of over it very quickly after, you know, just a mere 20 minutes or so. I'm still trying to dial that back as it is, but before I was on there for much longer than 20 minutes at a time and just getting sucked into the endless scroll. And now it's just, I feel pretty compelled to create at the moment. I feel like there's kind of a couple different ways that we can kind of exist in the world to a degree. We can either be consumers, especially as creatives. I'll say that much. I think we all are creatives, but y'all know what I mean. us artists and stuff, we definitely have periods of time where we feel like being consumers. We're just kind of obsessed with watching all the new shows and reading all the new books and staying really on top of all the new YouTube videos that you follow. And for a really long time, that can be very engaging and really interesting and just really captures your attention. And it's designed to, and it does it very well. It does its job. But there comes a time, probably after several years, that all of that just kind of gets exhausting. And once that happens, I think for us creatives, us artists, I really personally feel like that's when we need to allow ourselves to be creative and actually create content rather than just absorb it. I think we can do both simultaneously, but I think if you really take stock of how you feel and how you're engaging with content at any one point, you kind of know at what point are you really creating or are you just consuming. And I wouldn't spend a lot of time trying to make a judgment call on that for yourself. I'm not here to tell you that, oh, you should feel bad because you were consuming all the time. No, I don't think so. I think we all go into different phases of both. Of we can get really obsessed with creating and then not have any kind of input, creative input from any other source, and that has detriments to it. And then we can have issues with consuming too much, and we can get sucked into that, and then almost, never end up creating anything. And I think the real key on both of those is balance. When it starts feeling unbalanced, you start feeling annoyed all the time or stressed out, definitely not relaxed, I'll tell you that much. And I think it's really important to, especially right now, take stock of the way you feel very often and decide when you are feeling in these modes, like, how do I feel better? Like, what would make me feel better? Because sometimes if you are like in this really like creative go, go, go kind of mindset, the thing that will make you feel better is to step away from that a bit and just scroll around on stuff that makes you happy, that brings you joy. And it can be silly stuff. In fact, I encourage it to be silly stuff when it comes to that. There's definitely times and places for when you should and need to take a stand and do what's right and really focus on that. And then there's times where you need to re-energize yourself and relax. And I think also kind of planning for those two different times can definitely help. This upcoming couple of months are going to be definitely a lot of pretty busy, and like if you are into what's going on into the world right now and you're interested in making a change, you're definitely going to be keeping up with all of this, what's going on. And yeah, definitely like November 3rd, you should really start paying attention and keeping track of all what's going on. But there's definitely a lot of time before then. And I think, I really think that until then, until the times that you do have to focus and really concentrate on either work or school, or just things in general that bring kind of a low stress or rather high stress issues, then yeah, I don't know. I just feel like planning the different stages that you may or may not be really busy can also really help with everything and help figure out what brings you a little bit of relaxation. Yeah, and that's all I have to say on that. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I definitely feel pretty passionate about a bunch of different things, and all of these different things can bring their own types of stress. And in dealing with this, I just think it's important to take stock of everything. Making lists is really crucial for me. I have so many little tiny post-it notes, and I mean tiny. Look at this. It's so small. But I write so much on each one. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, I have like a ton of little tiny post-it notes all over the place with different kinds of things written on it. And a lot of it is just brain dumps for me. It's just trying to get everything written out and out of my brain. And when that happens, whether it's digital or actually physically written out, I like physically writing things out because I really enjoy crossing it off when I'm done with it. But I feel like doing little brain dumps like that whenever you can. I have them separated into categories. So I have like all of, the one I showed you is like all of my art stuff. And over here in my notebook, I have 4 or 5 little Post-its full of everything I need to do with my RV. I'm slowly but surely getting all of that kind of situated. And by doing that, it really helps with kind of figuring out what it is that I need to do, what I need to focus on. And when you have not even a set schedule, but just a plan of different things that you need to accomplish, it allows you to decide day by day, okay, what can I accomplish on this list? Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's doing something small, like last night I finally ordered a solution to my water heater problem. I've been going without for about 6 months, a little longer, and because of that, it's been a high degree of stress for me every time I get into this like research bubble. Because I'm the only one kind of experiencing this issue, I'm kind of the main one that has to do all of the research. And I don't know a lot of people who know a lot about RV water heaters. So I don't have any kind of expert to ask. So everything I had to do with it involved me learning everything I could about the topic. And then on top of it, as I'm learning, I also have to kind of figure out what the expert opinion on various things is. And if there is no expert opinion, then just getting a kind of consensus opinion on the different types of water heater. You can already tell like how stressful this is, trying to learn a new topic and then also become an expert at it at the same time in order to make a big decision that will affect many years of your future life and your quality of life in those. Like, it's a lot. So the way I kind of dealt with it was to do the research as much as I could, get fed up with it in fairly short order after maybe like researching for 5 hours or whatever, at a time, and then I would forget about it for a few days. And that's kind of how I dealt with it until I finally just decided that the best solution for me was to convert what I already have into an electric system, because I get electric covered where I'm at, and I don't have to make any special modifications. I don't have to get another separate tank. It just helps smooth over the whole entire thing. And then I just did it. I just ordered the thing I needed to. I spent the money, and now it's done. It's off of my list. I'm not having to mess with it anymore. And let me tell you, I felt so ready to go to sleep last night after I did that at like 3 in the morning. And I slept pretty well actually after that. So that's what kind of having these decisions and getting them done and solved, especially over a long period of time, kind of does for you, is that it takes that real estate that thing was taking up in your mind, this giant area that was just water heater, is now free and empty, and I can focus on other things now. And Christy says, yay for hot water. So close. It's ordered. It's in the mail. It's should be getting it this week, and then I'm going to see about installing it next week. So maybe by the next Colourisma, I can give y'all an update on that. Hopefully it goes well. Fingers crossed. But yeah, so it's definitely a process, all of this. There's so many things that contribute to stress and anxiety, and don't make it possible for us to really relax and be able to not have all these stresses on us. I've already explained all the different things going on that are kind of outside our control, but I think it's worth mentioning the things that actually we can control for ourselves. I mentioned a little bit about how we can control our social media feeds and make them do what we want, even if they won't do it for us. I think it's important to be able to control when you can, and not just succumb to what they, the ominous they want us to be able to do with their platforms. There's an experiment I think a lot of people know about by now that I think Facebook did a few years ago now, but basically they were just testing, they were doing like this psychological experiment on people and showing them a bunch of stuff that was like not nice and just constantly, and they were just like seeing what effect that had on people, and it kind of got found out and blew up in their face, and just really it was not a great thing all around. But even while that was happening and people were kind of talking about like, hey, this is sort of weird, does anyone else see this going on this platform? I was taking charge. I was kind of dealing with a lot of different issues at the time, and anytime I kind of saw something and I was like, I don't want to have to deal with this, unfollow, unlike, like hide. You could hide things from your timeline on Facebook. So I just made the feed look the way I wanted, and that really helped me. In other non-social media things, I really feel like figuring out the things that bring you joy and figuring out the things that bring you a lot of stress are really important. I feel like if you're able to do these things, then and figure out what those things are, that is going to go a long way to helping you not be so stressed out. again, a lot of us just kind of go through life and hope things don't bother us. And that's kind of a method, but I don't think it's a very great method of making it so we feel less stress. One of the ways I think we could help ourselves in that realm is like figure out the things that are working for us and the things that aren't. And if something is not working out for us, whether it's a job or a relationship, or I mean, these are all kind of big deals, right? Like, this isn't something that we're going to solve tomorrow, but acknowledging that these are issues for us is going to do a few different things for us. And as soon as we acknowledge something, then we can figure out what it is that we can do to remedy the issue. And if it's, for instance, like a job situation, then we can ask ourselves, okay, well, what kind of job would make us feel better? What kind of job would work out better for us? And we can then take the next step, which is like, what does that job look like? What does that new position entail? Does it involve moving? Does it involve quitting? Does it, just every kind of thing, every kind of solution that you can come up with. I encourage you to like write it down and then analyze kind of the pros and cons, which can be stressful, but if you come upon a solution that works for you in your situation, I really feel like you'll feel better. Even if you're having to deal with this thing that you're not happy with, the fact that you are working towards something else is going to make you feel better. Just kind of sitting and ruminating in the unhappiness of your current situation, I guarantee you, is not going to make you feel relaxed, and it's not going to make you feel better in the long term. So I feel like it's really important to figure out what it is that is the issue for you in your life, and then also make a plan on what the solution looks like. That plan can change too. I think it's really important to realize that maybe the thing you've been researching all this time, we'll go back to the water heater. I really thought that solution was a tankless, right? Like, oh, unlimited hot water. That sounds good. Like, sign me up. They're expensive though. So that was one obstacle toward just making that a reality. And as well, I started reading more and more about it, and especially individual user, like, yeah, there's a lot of sites on there that say, oh, this is so awesome, why don't you just sign right up? But like, who's telling you that? And then you do a little digging and it's like, oh, look, it's the author is someone who works at this company, or yeah. So I started reading more individual reviews, especially on like Amazon and whatnot. And what I came to find out is that it doesn't really work in RVs. The tankless has to rely on a certain amount of PSI pressure. And if your campground or whatever doesn't have that, then guess what? You don't get hot water. It just doesn't work. So unless you're willing to buy one that doesn't have that issue, at which point it's a pretty penny, then yeah. So that kind of was something I was going to really start delving into and looking into as a solution. And then when I did more research, I realized, actually, no, that's not the answer to my problems. That's not going to fix what the current problem I have. So same thing for you. Maybe you think that going into a certain field, art field or whatnot, is going to be the solution for you. Maybe you think that doing freelance full time is the solution for you, but you actually take a lot of not take a lot of, but like you do better when you take direction from people. Like for whatever reason, being in full control of your own schedule doesn't really work out for you personally. So you think that's what you want because you haven't had it before, but then you try it for a little bit and you realize, actually, this isn't ideal. This isn't the ideal solution for me. That's just one example. Maybe it's the reverse. Maybe you think that going to a studio is going to solve all your problems, but then you like get all this creative burnout and you're just like, I just want to work on my thing. Like I don't tired of taking direction from everyone else. I just want to do the thing that I want to do for a change. So it can go either direction. And the important thing is to kind of like realize which is it like for you personally. And that takes a little soul searching to kind of figure out. Yeah, that is a definite big one as well. Chrissy brings up a really good point in the chat. I'm going to like pop that up onto the screen because I think it's really, really good. Other people's expectations can also be a really big cause of stress. Learning to put your own well-being before others' expectations is so freeing, and that is absolutely true. A lot of what I'm saying today can also be exacerbated by having other people exert what they want for their lives or wanted for their lives and never actually achieved, and then like putting that on you. I know that's a thing that a lot of people deal with at all ages. Like it's not just because you're, you know, just left the house and you're still feeling the weight of like your parents' expectations on you. There are people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s who still have the weight of their parents' expectations on them. Sometimes that never goes away, but I think it's just really important to definitely ask yourself, like, where is this desire coming from? Is it coming from me, or is it coming from an outside source? And if it's coming from an outside source, it's really, really good to identify what that source is and whose best interest does it have. Is it really taking into consideration you and what you want for your life? There's definitely people who didn't even know me that well, which was the funny thing, who advised against my RV lifestyle. Okay, like before I even had my rig, or before, you know, and I was just talking about it and talking about what I wanted to do, they would tell me like, I don't know, I don't think that's a great. Well, that's them projecting what they wanted for their life onto me. And because I just dismissed that outright, because stop, like when you know yourself and what you want well enough, it's very easy to note when people are doing that to make themselves feel better and when they're actually worried about you. There was a few times when people did that and I could tell that they were actually worried about me, but it was even still a lot of times those people, they're actually still afraid. They might be more afraid for you than like worried about how you actually cope and deal with everything, or want to try to cope and deal with everything. So yeah, definitely keep in mind what kinds of things are the type of things that you want out of your life and the type of things that other people want through you. I think that's really important. I really think that once you have an idea of what you want, it really keeps you focused on getting there. And then once you are there and you do have the thing, it may actually kind of not be exactly what you want, but it does really feel pretty nice. Even though it might be difficult, you don't mind that difficulty as much, as long as it's the thing you really wanted, and not like Christy said, something that's been projected onto you. I've definitely had moments where I've been really stressed out about the situation with my RV, and then for a moment when I'm waking up or just not having any particular issues at that moment of time, I'll just look around and I'm like, no, actually, I really like this. This is exactly what I wanted. Yes, there's difficulties. There's not going to be some kind of perfect situation. Even if somebody gifted you $1 million or $100 million tomorrow, that comes with its own set of issues and problems and emotional baggage and tax baggage. Just so many things become issues, even if you think you're everything solved in your life. Even if you have your dream job, every day is not going to be perfect. So I think also having an awareness of that for yourself, and knowing that when you have a purpose and when you have like a passion for whatever it is that you're doing and you're accomplishing, even the bad days you can kind of like deal with. You can deal with them way better than like the best day doing something that you don't really love. Even if everything at this job you don't really love goes flawlessly, there's no like joy in it, right? Like you're just like, okay, and what next? And if you do have those feelings, I highly encourage you to do some searching and figure out what it is that is going to make you really kind of feel that like passion, that like that get up and go, and make you want to feel happy again. I know a lot of people are in difficult positions because it's just a difficult time right now. So it may be slower going than just picking up and starting a new job, because there's not a lot of jobs that are available at the moment. Or if there's a lot of associated risk with them, or there can be. So it's a really kind of tumultuous time right now. And I think it's good to keep stock of how you're feeling during all this, and really keeping that in mind and understanding what it is that you want and keeping that in mind, and just overall really kind of doing what's best for you in a way that isn't harmful to other people. I think that's also important and something to keep in mind. I get stuck on one type of phrase and I just decide to say it like 30 times in a row. But yeah, so that's kind of, I feel like there's more. I feel like there's definite kind of tangents I wish I would have gone on for this episode. We could definitely have a part 2. If you have a particular kind of issue that I either didn't cover at all, or something that you can kind of relate to, but it didn't quite match up with your own experience, let me know in the comments, and I can definitely have like maybe a part 2, because I feel this is such a crucial topic for right now. it's so much going on, and kind of being able to find ways to keep grounded and deal with life and getting any kind of suggestions you can from wherever the sources that are out there. I say go for it. So I'm at the top of the hour here. I appreciate anyone who's come and joined us. Me and BB. BB is my RV. Especially everyone in the chat today. I super appreciate it. I'm probably going to rework this sketch a little bit more, but I got the basic kind of look. We'll see what the final will look like. The legs are a little all over the place and a little wonky at the moment, but I'll probably do a opacity new layer and then sketch over it. But I did get further than I would have otherwise. So I do appreciate everyone watching. If you enjoyed this or other past Colourisma episodes, then I encourage you to go check out patreon.com/Colourisma. And that is a way you can help support this channel and help support more content like this. I've got interview coming up at the end of the month, and I'm going to be sending out more emails to see if I can get more interviews. They're always super fun for me, and I really like trying to help promote people and get their stuff out into the world. So if you don't have the means right now to contribute in that way, then you can always check out, you can subscribe, like and subscribe, all the YouTube stuff as well to this channel. And I also have pretty much everywhere else on all the other socials, there's Colourisma. So yeah, I appreciate you all being here. I hope you are able to find a moment to relax in your life. And thank you for checking out everything and still being here. Good job. We did it. Another day. All right. I'll catch you all later and have a good one. Bye.